If you're starting to learn English, or you've been trying for a while without much progress, I want you to know that you're not alone. Everyone has been where you are now, and the good news is that there are simple, effective steps you can follow to improve your English, no matter what your current level is. Learning English doesn't have to be overwhelming, and it doesn't need to take years to become fluent. It's all about consistency, small daily efforts, and using the right methods. In this video, I'll walk you through the steps that are perfect for English learners, whether you're a beginner or someone who's already on their learning journey. Let's start with the first step. Step 1. Build a routine. One of the most important things when it comes to learning English is consistency. You can't expect to become fluent if you only practice once in a while. Set aside time every day to practice English, even if it's just 15 to 20 minutes. It's better to do a little bit every day than to cram for hours once a week. For example, try listening to an English podcast in the morning, practicing a few new words at lunch, and then speaking with a language partner or practicing writing in English in the evening. Building a routine is key to creating a habit, and once learning becomes a habit, you'll find it easier to improve. Step 2. Surround yourself with English. The more you surround yourself with the English language, the faster you will improve. Immerse yourself in English as much as possible. You don't need to move to an English-speaking country to do this. It's all about using the resources you have around you. Start watching TV shows, movies, and YouTube videos in English. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and music in English. Even when you're not actively learning, your brain will be soaking in the language. At first, it might feel hard to understand everything, and that's okay. Over time, as you hear the same phrases and words repeatedly, your listening skills will improve. Step 3. Learn vocabulary in context. It's not enough to just memorize words from a list. You need to understand how those words are used in context. If you learn a new word, make sure you understand how to use it in a sentence. For example, if you learn the word excited, practice saying things like, "I'm excited to learn English," or "She's excited for the weekend." This will help you remember the word and understand how it's used naturally. You can also use flashcards or apps like Anki or Quizlet to practice new words and review them regularly. But remember, the key is to use the words in sentences and conversations so you can internalize their meanings. Step 4. Practice speaking every day. Speaking is one of the most important skills when it comes to language learning, but many learners are afraid of speaking, thinking that they'll make mistakes or sound silly. The truth is, everyone makes mistakes, and that's how you learn. Practice speaking every day. Even if you don't have someone to practice with, speak to yourself in English. Describe your day, talk about your plans, or even repeat sentences you hear in movies or podcasts. If possible, find a language partner or a tutor to practice with. You can use websites like HelloTalk or Tandem to connect with people who are learning your language, and you can help each other out. Step 5. Focus on listening skills. Listening is just as important as speaking. If you can't understand what people are saying, it's going to be hard to speak and respond effectively. That's why you need to focus on listening skills from the very beginning. You don't need to understand every word, just focus on understanding the general meaning. Watch movies or TV shows in English with subtitles to help you connect what you're hearing with what you're reading. Over time, try to watch without subtitles to improve your listening skills even more. Step 6. Keep it fun and don't be too hard on yourself. Learning a new language should be enjoyable, not stressful. If you find yourself getting frustrated, take a break. Try to find activities that make learning fun. For example, you could play language learning games, watch English YouTube channels that you enjoy, or read books or articles on topics that interest you. Remember, you're allowed to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to speak, to try new things, or to ask questions. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Step 7. Focus on grammar. Gradually. Grammar might seem complicated, but it doesn't need to be overwhelming. Start with the basics: sentence structure, verb tenses, and common grammar rules. Focus on the areas that are most important for daily conversation. And as you get more comfortable, gradually add more complex grammar topics to your learning. Instead of memorizing rules, try to learn them in context. For example, instead of just memorizing the rule for past tense, practice using it in sentences. Once you see how grammar works in real life, it'll make more sense. Step 8. Set achievable goals. Setting small, achievable goals is a great way to stay motivated. Start with easy goals like learning 5 new words every day, watching 1 English movie per week, or having a 10-minute conversation in English. Celebrate each goal you achieve, no matter how small it seems, because it will keep you motivated to keep going. As you progress, you can set bigger goals, like reading a book in English or having a 30-minute conversation with a native speaker. But always remember to keep your goals realistic and manageable. Step 9. Reflect on your progress. It's easy to get discouraged if you don't see immediate progress. But remember that language learning is a gradual process. Take time to reflect on how far you've come. Look back at your old notes, review the new words you've learned, and think about the conversations you've had in English. Celebrate your successes and use them as motivation to keep going. Sometimes it can help to keep a journal where you track your learning. Write about what you've learned each day or week, and notice how much you've improved over time. Step 10. Engage with the English-speaking community. One of the best ways to improve your English is to engage with people who speak the language. This is where real conversations happen and real learning takes place. Whether it's online or in person, interacting with others will give you the chance to practice your speaking and listening skills in a natural way. You can join online forums, participate in social media groups, or find communities that are focused on learning English. Apps like Reddit, Facebook groups, or language exchange platforms like italki and HelloTalk are excellent for meeting people from around the world. Even if you just chat casually or ask questions, every interaction counts. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Native speakers will usually appreciate your effort and help you along the way. Step 11. Learn to think in English. This is a crucial step. Thinking in English means that you are starting to internalize the language, and that's when fluency starts to happen. If you're constantly translating from your native language to English in your head, it will slow you down. Instead, try to get into the habit of thinking directly in English. Start by describing things around you. For example, if you're looking at a book, think to yourself, "This is a book. It has a cover, pages, and words." Try to label objects in your house in English. The more you think in English, the easier it will be to express yourself when speaking. Step 12. Be patient and persistent. Learning a language takes time, and sometimes it may feel frustrating, especially when you don't see immediate results. But remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be moments where progress feels slow, but that doesn't mean you're not improving. The most important thing is to stay patient and keep going. Every small effort you make is building a stronger foundation for your English skills. So, even if it feels hard at times, keep practicing. The more consistent you are, the better the results will be in the long run. Step 13. Learn phrasal verbs and idioms. English is full of phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions that often don't make sense if you try to translate them literally. But these phrases are used all the time in everyday conversations, and they can help you sound more natural. Start by learning a few common phrasal verbs or idioms each week. For example, break up, to end a relationship, give up, to quit, or catch up, to talk after a period of time. These will make your English sound much more fluent and conversational. Use them in context, and soon, you'll be able to understand and use these expressions without even thinking about it. Step 14. Get feedback on your progress. As you learn English, it's important to get feedback on your progress. This will help you identify areas where you can improve and help you stay motivated. You can ask a language partner, tutor, or even friends who are fluent in English to give you constructive feedback. For example, you could ask them to listen to your speech or read your writing and suggest ways to improve it. Sometimes, even just hearing someone say, "You're doing great," is enough to keep you going. Remember, feedback is not criticism. It's a tool that helps you become better. Embrace it and use it as a way to grow. Step 15. Never stop learning. Learning English doesn't stop when you reach a certain level of fluency. Language is always evolving, and there are always new things to learn. Even native speakers continue learning their language throughout their lives. Once you feel comfortable with your English skills, continue to challenge yourself. Watch movies in more complex genres, read books with advanced vocabulary, or engage in deep conversations about different topics. These steps are fire,